What do Mark Hamill, Brad Garrett, and Luke Perry have in common? They were all in a mouse show in the mid-90s which would rival a certain turtle show till this very day. Made during a time of pure capitalistic foresight, the 90s brought with it some crazy shows which were built to do one thing and one thing only: sell toys. And boy, biker mice from Mars had a good formula for it. You had alien mice riding some boss motorcycles with some space-grade weapons to boot. And did I mention they also had a spaceship that was controlled by motorbike handles? In more recent times, Ryan Reynolds has made some official statements as part of his production company Maximum Effort, stating they are looking to reboot the cult classic into something a new generation can enjoy. You never know, we may even get a live-action movie rated for a mature audience. Cool! There's something nostalgic revisiting this show and a sense of comfort. It's been 30 years since the first episode aired and it really hits me in the childhood. Everything feels so familiar. Once I dug into it more, something that I would have never guessed all those years ago occurred to me. This is a Marvel production, with Stan Lee credited as one of the executives. Given the strength of Marvel and its IP today, I was absolutely floored when I saw none of the major streaming platforms, at least here in Australia, having picked this one up. Even more digging revealed that Attributed creator Rick Ungar actually was the president and CEO of Marvel in the early 90s, with writing and production credits across most of Marvel's largest IPs. Airing across 3 seasons between 93 to 96, the show had 65 episodes and a reboot in 2006. I could see multiple production companies had picked it up for syndication. From the information I could find, it was aired in the United States, Canada, UK, the Philippines, and France. Although I'm 100% certain I had spent many Saturday mornings curled up with some cereal watching this one in my younger years. Another thing that totally didn't occur to me is how dark and grim the actual plotline is without the childish animation and scripts. The biker mice from Mars came from a society of anthropomorphic mice who enjoyed motorsports, with customs and a society similar to those of humans. At some point, the evil fish race of space Plutarkians who roam space looking for planets to loot as they use their own resources up, find Mars and decide to completely wipe the planet of its inhabitants. Kids show, by the way. 3 mice who survived the genocide escaped within an inch of their life. However, as they fly away in their spaceship, the Plutarkians, which have the motto of no mercy, decide to shoot the ship down, which crash lands into Earth. Specifically, Chicago. Plutarkians, not happy with the resources they got from Mars, see their next target, Earth, as a great new resource to consume, in hopes of wiping out humans in its process. Wow, I mean, you could literally interchange some of these concepts like mouse-human hybrid and Plutarkian with some more serious themes, and you have yourself one hell of a depression arc to write a show around. I always find it interesting writing kids' shows plots down like this, and then analysing how dark they can be. Perhaps a topic for a future video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment if you want to see that.
Yep, that's me. I'm the baddest motorcycle mama jamma in the universe.
Modest too.
Throttle, the tan-furred lead figure, rocking a quiff and ponytail, making logical, level-headed, and rational decisions. Throttle lost his sight in an incident on Mars and was fitted with bionic eyes whilst in captivity. As a result, he also dons green shades which have field special capabilities. Throughout the show, he gets kitted out with a power glove on his right hand called Nuke Nux, alongside a holstered laser pistol.
Dickory dickory, Doc.
We've come to clean your clock.
Modo, the grey-furred gentle giant, who has an eye patch suggesting he had his eye damaged during one of the various experiments that were performed on the mice. The same incident that made Throttle lose his sight also destroyed Modo's right arm. As such, he has a robotic replacement that has a built-in laser cannon. Again, he got his arm through some crazy experiment he was not agreeable to. What is happening in this show? There also is this running gag where if you call mice rats, they go into a rage. Modo in particular gets red eyes of rage and taps into his inner berserker. Characteristics wise, whilst his exterior is tough, he's the most empathetic and sensitive of the group, always remembering his grey-furred mama.
I gotta get this kid to a hospital.
Vinny, the white-furred thrill-seeker and self-proclaimed lady killer, is a straight-out egomaniac with an inferiority complex. Also scarred by the incident which took Throttle's sight and Moto's arm, Vinny lost half his f***ing face. Kids show, by the way. He has a flexible faceplate and he is an egomaniac through and through. As such, he does not ride a chopper like the other 2 mice. Rather, he chooses a red sports bike, enjoying the rush and glory. whilst also taking all of the bragging rights as a result.
Oh, Spros, come on, calm down. This bloated bag of tainted trap is just trying to get you go. We got nothing to worry about.
The show tries to downplay his outright craziness by giving him some moments of showing a loving and caring side, but honestly, I only think they did that to balance it and make it kid-friendly. So far, we have 3 mice. All 3 of them have some sort of a vision problem on either one eye or both. They ride bikes, have weapons, and have more than 2 dimensions to their character. Also, for some reason, they all hate cheese. Vinny in particular has a pathological loathing for cheese. They do love hot dogs though.
Here, have a dog. Dog, eh? I've heard of these. I'll check it out. Ride free, citizen.
The mice do have some companions who play supporting roles throughout the journey. You have Charlie Davidson. I wonder if Harley paid for that advertising. An auburn-haired, green-eyed girl mechanic running the Last Chance garage in Chicago. The mice stumble upon her in the first episode and she plays a pivotal role from there on out. Always ready to go into battle, however the mice are always protective when it comes to dangerous situations. They can't bear to see anything bad happening to her. Oh, did I also mention that she's a high-tech genius? All the mice have some sort of tech attributed to her, including custom upgrades on the motorcycles. There's also a cast of characters throughout the show, from the freedom fighters tied to the resistance against Plutarkians on Mars. Within the characters, some are related to the biker mice, whilst others have complicated relationships with them. From Rimfire, who is Moto's nephew, helping the mice escape from prison when they were on Mars, to General Carbine, the de facto leader of the freedom fighters, who was quote-unquote lovers with Throttle, but their relationship suffered complications due to her position amongst the freedom fighters. I mean, at this point, we have an entire Marvel universe here with sprinklings of Star Wars. The villains also have some fascinating backgrounds. Lawrence Lactavius Limburger, the archenemy of the biker mice and the main villain across the seasons. As a bloated alien from Plutarch, he is obsessed with Earth's criminal society of the 1930s and heads up Limburg Industries, one of Chicago's largest industrial companies. He is garmented with a purple business suit and hides his original alien form with rubber masks and prosthetics. Generally, every episode ends up with him failing. It is later revealed that Limburger is actually more of a peon in the overall Plutarchian structure and managed to climb his ranks to middle management, with Earth being his post.
I hate these family visits.
He's usually accompanied by his sidekick Grease Pit. With Limburger's middle management status, Grease Pit gets all of the greasy work. Get it? Riding his motorized tricycle into battle, he's almost like a comedic speed bump in every episode, spilling his oily sweat in the office and bungling any challenge thrown his way. Grease Pit is so incompetent, eventually Limburger's plans include Grease Pit failing scenarios to try and make them more aligned to success. The scary part is Grease Pit's backstory and how real it could be without the comedy or animation. Grease Pit was literally hired and kept around due to how inept he was. Limburger saw an opportunity to have a fool as his second-in-command to ensure he always looked better than he actually was. Jeez. And next up on the list of war crimes and atrocities, Dr. Benjamin Boris Zachary Carbuncle. I have no idea why they decided to give him 4 names, but there you go.
Silence, you irritating insect!
A thin, sly, mad scientist described as an indeterminate human-shaped species. Carbuncle started his career working for Limburger's boss, but was bribed to cross over. To be honest, there is so much to be said here and draw comparisons against in terms of his character's inspirations. However, Carbuncle's main mission under Limburger is to build machines or robots to battle the biker mice. During the quote-unquote war on Mars, Carbuncle gave Moto his bionic arm and eye, Stoker his bionic tail, and Throttle his malfunctioning bionic eyes as part of his experiments to create a bionic army after they were captured by the Plutarchian forces. His ultimate goal after giving the biker mice the various robotic appendages was to brainwash them into believing they were loyal Plutarchians fighting for the other side. Carbuncle is a sycophant, often seen admiring Limburger and praising him. However, Carbuncle's top priority is Carbuncle. He is often seen torturing his colleagues, cares little about his co-worker Grease Pit, and has traded Plutarchian employers many times. He's generally described as a sadist. Kids show, by the way. Fred the Mutant, a masochist mutant who works for Limburger, loves enjoying pain, and that is his purpose.
La
Oh, it's kind of hot. But that's the way, I like it.
Did I mention he was made by Carbuncle? Yeah. There are so many more characters to name, but I think you get the gist. Generally, the formula for this show is pretty standard for similar media at the time. Limburger orders Carbuncle to use a specially built transporter designed to teleport in a powerful supervillain feared across the universe. They each have a special ability which Limburger plans around. The supervillains hang out on some asteroid called the Black Rock and offer their services for a fee. Limburger, being the generous mob boss that he is, usually skimps out on paying these supervillains after they have been banished back to the Black Rock. They even have an episode where Limburger and Carbuncle ended up being reverse transported to the Black Rock, facing all of those villains they hadn't paid. There are some funny and creative villain names and powers for sure. Here are a few notable mentions. You have the Pukes of Hazard, Munsterella and Gorgonzola, because the biker mice hate cheese, Catscan, Weathermeister, and Slobber the Mutt. As mentioned in the introduction, 2006 saw the show have a small revival and additional 28 episodes aired across one season. With the years passing and society changing, the series had a lot of great storylines intrinsically tied to the original series and going deeper into the lore of the biker mice. They also had some funny parody characters like Ronaldo Rump, a parody of Donald Trump and Ricky Ricardo put together.
Ah, my regenerator. My wonderful little money machine. If only I had another one just like you.
Blessed with an oversized ass, large toupee, and a pencil moustache, Ronaldo started his humble life as a used car salesman and used a regenerator to become super wealthy, using his newfound wealth to build a massive tower over where Limburger Plaza used to be. 2006 humor at its finest. Overall, I think the Biker Mike from Mars universe is one that can really go into so many different directions. I'm excited to see how the IP can be revived and brought back to life for a new generation to enjoy. I think it's one that is edgy enough to cater to an older market, but fun enough to introduce to a new generation. There is so much potential in its serious and comedic sides. It's unique, refreshing, and one I would highly recommend exploring.